Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Welcome back to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am Carrie Dahle, your host, and today I'm going to share with you an interview I did with probably the most brilliant man I've ever spoken to. His name is Justin Breen. He is the founder and CEO of the global PR firm Epic Communications and exclusive connectivity platform Epic Network. His first book, Epic Business, was a bestseller in 6 countries and #1 for entrepreneurship. His newest book is Epic Life: How to Build Collaborative Global Companies While Putting Your Loved Ones First. And he is unlike any other guest I have had on the show, but I think that all of you will learn something from him and be inspired and hopefully realize that you can do great things while putting your family first. Welcome, Justin. I'm so excited to have you here today. I really want to start with your story. I have this huge love for stories, and I love how it connects people and it helps us relate with one another. So while I have read your book, I know about you somewhat. I would love to hear your story from you, how you went from being a journalist to this incredible, successful entrepreneur.
Well, grateful to be here. Thanks for being a high quick start activator and just hitting the button and going. I don't understand people that like overthink things or take forever to make a decision. It's very confusing to me. I found that they're their own worst enemies, and if someone's their own worst enemy, you can't help them if they can't help themselves. So you're either born top visionary or you're not. I strongly believe that. And what separates top visionaries from humans or business owners or consultants are 4 things. 1 is bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. 2, depression. 3, highest level of anxiety you can imagine. And 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. So for overwhelming majority of society, those are excuses. And then for visionary, okay, figure it out. So after job salary was cut in half a little over 6 years ago as a journalist, tried to find a job, couldn't find a job, incorporated 6 days after turning 40, 6 days after turning 40 with 0 business background, over the next 6 weeks while working full-time at half salary, reach out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients for first company and got 5th client. June 1st, 2017, resigned June 2nd, and then June 5th. He's retired since then, but at the time he was the top media columnist in the Midwest. Robert Feeder did a story. I started my first firm, or started the firm. So most people can't. They're not born like that. But top entrepreneurs, that's just entrepreneur life.
Yeah. And then you've written a couple books, most recently Epic Life. And in that, I love it because you focus on your love of your family and the fact that you can build these businesses while loving your family and actually putting your family first.
Right.
But I've noticed like so many other entrepreneurs, they put their family last. So what makes you different that way? Or no family. Exactly.
Well, you have this, your site, the Thrive Mindset. And there's this beautiful it looks like a hummingbird.
It is.
Beautiful hummingbird. I would pan over, but I got 10 bird feeders in our backyard. We're east of the Mississippi, so the ruby-throated hummingbird, they'll come in every now and then. They'll come and feed here. They're the only hummingbird species east of the Mississippi. Where you live, there's a lot of different species. But I was looking at the hummingbird on your site. It's a good site, and it's a beautiful bird, rainbow hummingbird. But that's the way I kind of look at my family. Like that's the rainbow hummingbird, and all this other stuff is just stuff. It's just business owner stuff. And then most of my days talking to the world's top entrepreneurs, top entrepreneurs. So not humans or not business owners, not consultants, just, those four things. Most of them are all four, at least three of the four. And then they have the highest IQ, highest EQ, most hustle, most courage. And then they use those coping skills, because an entrepreneur is the most damaged person with the best coping skills. That's what a true entrepreneur is. They use the coping skills to create all this stuff, and then they bypass family, torch family, never have family in the process. So I'm like, well, that's not a good idea. So Epic Life is how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. And to me, that's the rainbow hummingbird on your site.
Well, it is to me too. It actually represents my grandmother, which there's a long story behind that, but that's what that is to me. But I'm curious though, still, why? I mean, you are brilliant. So
Thank you.
Why is it that you...
Tell my wife you said that.
I would believe she thinks that too, but maybe not. I don't know. But I do think that there's something different about the way you think about that, because again, I have seen so many other entrepreneurs that they just family comes last. Why do you think they do that? Why is that not of value to them?
It's a great question. It's a fair point, and thank you for doubling down on that, because this is the real, this is literally why I wrote the book, because when you talk to 1 to 2 folks, again, all I do is talk to visionaries, most damaged. So when you talk to 1 to 2 of those folks every single week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from anything meaningful, that's a problem. And what I've seen, what it comes down to is they have so much damage, so much trauma, especially as a child, that the entrepreneur, what they create is the shield. It's just the armor from all the damage. And many of them don't even understand a human relationship because they're not human. People like us are usually aliens within our own family, community, and verticals. The only people that understand us are top entrepreneurs on planet. So they're so damaged that the coping skills are the shield against the damage. And then it's shield at all costs, even at cost of family. So I think that's why it happens. And the entrepreneurs are so intelligent that if you just say, hey, you're winning the wrong game, or what game are you actually winning? When they're made aware of it, then they can flip it. But that's really what it comes down to, is it's just incredible damage creating all this stuff.
I think that's really interesting that you consider it a shield.
No, that's what it is. Yeah. I mean, that's what that's all it is. So I know when it's a real shield, when it's in my brain, I was a journalist for 20 years, so you don't get into that for employee count, office space, revenue, business owner stuff. It's just confusing to me. So I started this entrepreneur journey with a totally blank slate. And then it's interesting because you have the rainbow hummingbird. I see everything in black and white. And I was on a show like this. And then the host is like, oh, your black and white thinking allows endless color in your life. I'm like, oh, yeah, right. So I can see the rainbow bird because I'm like, well, it's either this or that. And then when you know the answer, you focus on the answer, and then you eliminate the non-answer. And the non-answer is don't destroy your family for this life. So I just focus on putting family first, because that's the only answer. There's no other answer. So I know when someone doesn't have the answer for me, when they lead with 3 things, material things. When I first meet them and they lead with, oh, I made this list, or had a big exit, or got a new car, or I don't know, got expanded this. And it's 3 or more. And I always ask, well, how's your family or, relationship? And then almost always it's, oh, I'm divorced, or never see kids, never had family. Because you just see the same pattern over and over and over. And then the key to life to me is really understanding those patterns, and then the answer, and focusing on the answer.
Well, I'm curious, what made you want to reach out to me? Because you didn't know that I was a visionary.
I knew the answer. Yes, I did.
How did you know?
Because I just, okay.
I mean, I know how you know now, and I know how you've confirmed it, but I'm really curious what you saw.
Okay, so I will slow my brain down because you like input and context for understanding yourself, and then you can relate that to your audience, so you can help your audience, because you want to be a litmus test for the people you serve. Is that correct?
Pretty accurate.
Okay. So if you want to take it, I would recommend it. Dr. Doug Brackman, he wrote the book Driven. I was on his show. He's a great visionary. He's an 8 quick start like you. And he is iamdriven.com. There's a free 5-minute assessment, and it shows if you're a driven or not. You're definitely a driven. Okay, so the typical human brain is the small gray circle. The typical driven brain is a giant red circle. You'll be more of a giant red circle. And then I sent him mine, and he was like bewildered. He was very confused. And what does that mean? So like my intuition, just knowing things, is he's never seen intuition like mine, off the charts, the EQ. And then I'm actually less bored than an average human because I never leave my zone of genius. Most people like us are shiny object, bored, looking for next thing. I'm not. I'm the opposite of that. I'm less bored than an average human. And then most people like us are very high in perfectionism. Things, must get that right. Do that. I'm like 0 on perfectionism. I just do it because it's all based on intuition. And the reason why it's intuition is because all I do my whole life is understood and talk to people like us. And then I just know immediately when it's someone like us. So I'm 46. So that's pretty much, I mean, you read Epic Life, which thank you. Like my father was like, I was just born like this. And then my mom's pure hustle. And she's pure intuition, high EQ. So I just know. And then just to validate it, if it helps you and the audience, like someone's Colby. I mean, I knew you were a high quick start, but like, because you just did it right away. But like a true visionary's high quick start, lower follow through. So Colby's the easiest way to simplify that. KOLBE.com.
Yeah. I want to talk more about that. But you actually just said something about your dad and that relationship. And I'm really curious because you talk a lot about gratitude and abundance and mindset, which I love. And, not having a scarcity mindset. I mean, one of the things, yeah, exactly. But I'm really curious have you always been that way? Or is that something like, did you have to get over a moment of scarcity in your life?
That's a great question. I hear your 6 fact finder coming in on that one. I can get the input and the context. All my 8 I'm a really high fact finder. All it does is it just wants to learn the answer and then again, focus on the answer. Eliminate the non-answer. And then when you know the answer, then I know someone like you is a visionary. You just know. Okay. Cause that follow through is more follow through on the question. So again, you're either born like this or you're not. I'm firmly convinced of that. I think most people would choose this life. But those 4 things are excuses, and then they don't have the IQ and or EQ. They don't. I mean, that's just, there's nothing right or wrong about that. It's just they don't. I think most people would choose to be top visionary on planet and connect to top visionaries, but they're not top visionary. They're just not. Okay, so that's one. But if you are born like this, you can work on your mindset. You can work on your mindset. The companies I run, they're just extension of purpose. So there's 2 companies, and we only partner with visionaries who live in abundance and who look at things as investments, not costs. Visionaries, abundance mindset, investment mindset. So there's no what do you cost or charge. There's no scarcity. And what I've learned is that you can learn those 3 attributes if you're born like this. And so I just try to learn more and more about mindset and getting better and better at that every day. And that starts with gratitude toward wife and then gratitude toward visionaries and just focusing on that gratitude.
But so did you have a time in life where you had a scarcity mindset?
Well, I mean, it certainly wasn't this evolved in terms of abundant, but most people could not start a company with 0 business background after job salary was cut in half 6 days after turning 40, and then reach out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients. So that's just entrepreneur life. Most people can't do that. So I was always this person, but then just constantly evolving the mindset, like every day. The first thing I do every day is a grateful journal to my wife, what I'm grateful for her. And then 5 days a week, I'll include this in that, a grateful journal on LinkedIn. It's just a commercial for other people, but you can build gratitude every day. People like us, not always, again, my brain turns everything to patterns, but people like us usually marry stabilizing humans. Not always, but usually. So like a teacher, My wife's a pediatrician, a social worker, a nurse, an engineer, a human, smart human, but human. And then I found that grateful mindset is the mindset equivalent of marrying a stabilizing human. It's a stabilizer for a visionary.
Yeah. I love that you have that habit. I think you have lots of actually interesting habits.
My
right?
whole life is habits. Yeah. Whole life.
Yeah. But the gratitude one really resonates with me.
That would make sense based on what your website said. And now based on that, you've created an entire site being grateful to your grandmother based on that image. That would make sense. Would make sense.
It's important part to me. Like I've heard you say it too, but when you are in gratitude, you can't be negative. You can't draw. It's
hard.
Really hard.
It's hard.
Yeah. So let's talk patterns, because you said everything is a pattern to you. And I find that incredibly fascinating.
Yeah. Because everything's a pattern to you probably as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But I don't think I articulate it in the same way.
Right. Because you're a 4 follow through. I'm a 6. Yeah.
Okay.
It's different.
But you have certain assessments that you really prefer, and I'm very curious as to why you chose those.
Well, I love how your brain works. It's really interesting. You're a deep thinking quick start. Really fascinating. How many employees do you have, or humans?
I don't. We need to talk. I was going to.
With a 4 follow through. Oh my God.
I know.
No,
I have that question for you later.
Oh my God. Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so I'm dead last in empathy on Strength Finders, but I have endless empathy for people like us. So, oh my God, that sounds horrible. Oh God.
My life is not horrible.
But that sounds terrible from a strategic. Okay.
I'm super self-reliant. So that is.
Yeah, but you're an 8. You're an 8 Enneagram. Okay, so am I. I'm an 8. 8 is strong and self-reliant. 3 is to succeed and achieve.
Yeah, I'm actually a 3 Enneagram.
Okay, well, what? Great. You're probably a 3-8. I'm an 8-3. Great. So what? Okay, great. But 8 literally is strong and self-reliant. Okay, so we'll fact find this to death, but I don't want to. Okay. So, thank you. And you're like competition 1, achiever. Oh, you need a human badly. I can introduce you to at least an assistant. I mean, at least an assistant company. Okay, but okay. Let me focus.
Yes.
So all I do is talk to people like us. And then you learn the right pattern. Here's the answer. Focus on answer, eliminate non-answer. So the 3, I guess, tests or assessments I focus on the most or provide the best answer. And there's other ones, but I didn't want the easy. I just want the answer. So the best one by far is Kolbe, Kolbe. A index takes 20 minutes, $55. I always know when someone's not a visionary when they say, what does it cost to do that? Or it's $55. Is there a free link? I always think that's funny. Like, just gave you the key to understanding your life. and I'm not affiliated with Kolbe, but okay. So Kolbe, it measures how your brain takes action. I don't care what someone does. I don't care where they live. I don't care how many people are working with them. It doesn't matter. I want to know if they're going to do something. So visionaries, high quick start, lower follow through, almost without exception. Okay, so that's one. I'm actually high quick start and high follow through. That's very rare. Like, it's almost unheard of. The second one is Gallup Clifton Strength Finders, GALLUP. Most of the visionaries, not all, but most of the ones I talk to are ideator futurists. So they're often wherever that world is. And then they have a mix of activator, maximizer, or achiever. So they're often idea world, but they'll do something about it now. You're definitely high in achiever. I mean, I don't know if you've done that. I mean, sounds like you're high in competition as well. It would make sense. And so I'm almost dead last in ideation, very low in futuristic, but my top 5 are activator, maximizer, achiever, competition, responsibility. 6th is self-assurance. So there's no imposter syndrome. A lot of visionaries are low in self-assurance, so they're imposter syndrome. So most of my days talking to ADD, ADHD folks, and they're blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, simplify and then activate, maximize, achieve. Go, 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 go. So I'm endlessly grateful for ideators who will do something about it now, and they're endlessly grateful for me because I simplify all their ADD and connect. Okay, so that's 2. And then the third one, we just discussed it, is Enneagram or print. Most of the great entrepreneurs I know are 8-3s or 3-8s. So there's no overthinking, there's no overfeeling, there's no, it's just execute, 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 execute. And then usually people like us marry feeler thinkers or thinker feelers. My wife is a 2-6, so needed and appreciated, and 6 is safe and secure. That is a feeler thinker. Thank God.
So when you have people take tests and you're evaluating them and you put this picture together or this profile in your mind of how this person is, do you ever find that they're not what you expected?
Very rarely. When I first started, first company and first learned about Kolbe, which was like 2019. That was right before joining an entrepreneur group called Strategic Coach. Very grateful to be in that. That's one of the top entrepreneur groups in the world. So I wasn't fully ready to understand it. Now I can pretty much talk to someone for 2 minutes, not even less than that, and know their Kolbe score within a point or two. And then I think it's just as interesting as because sometimes Kolbe will change 12% of the time. And then I'll talk to someone where they were like a lower quick start, but they're not. They took it like 10 years ago and they were surrounded by humans. So they thought they had to be a human. I'm like, you're not a low quick start. And I'm like, you're an 8 or 9. And then they retake it and they're an 8 or 9. They go, how'd you know that? I go, well, you're not a low quick start. So you can hear it. But again, that's just like talking to the same type of visionary over and over and over and then learning the answer. And then you can just hear it.
When you say human, do you mean somebody with emotion?
Great question. Oh man, I wish my wife was here to hear that.
Well, she can hear it later.
I don't mean that. But that's one of the best questions anyone's ever asked me. So I'm dead last in empathy on Strength Finders. There's 34. Second to last includer. For people like us, I have endless empathy, endless emotion, endless understanding. For regular humans making excuses, I just don't understand it. It's not there. There's no emotion for that because there's no understanding of why anyone would make an excuse. Like, you have a life. Why would you make an excuse and then I have the best life? It's illogical to me. So there are only 4 types of visionaries, 4 types, not human, not business owner, not consultant, visionary. Only 4 types. Again, my brain, everything's a pattern. One is ADD, ADHD. It's not a disorder. Sign of genius mislabeled by humans. ADD folks have emotions. They're just not human. So 2 is minor Asperger's. My wife, who is a doctor, pediatrician, she's unofficially diagnosed me with that. Hyperfocus, little emotion, low on empathy, low on social cues. But for people like us, very high on social cues. So that's 2. 3, dyslexia. 30% of high-performing visionary entrepreneurs are dyslexic, so they can't read or write in some way, so they learn a different way of learning, which makes sense. And then 4, exceptionally high IQ and or EQ. Again, a regular human, they're not equipped to be a top visionary. Again, it's not a good or bad thing. They're just not. That's why most of the world has farmer brain, and then a visionary is a hunter brain. And then that's why most of the world's employees are working for a visionary maniac. It's not. So, certainly in some cases it's lack of emotion or lack of empathy, but I know a lot of visionary. My partner for second company, he's 3rd in empathy and he's a 9 quick start. So he has a lot of emotion. So it's not necessarily lack of emotion. It's just 4 things that aren't really human: ADD, Asperger's, dyslexic, high IQ, EQ.
Okay. What do you think about tests or assessments that don't necessarily ask you questions, but are more based on like your human design?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Really? I would think that if you looked at those and started studying them, you might see the patterns in that.
Nope. I already know that. I know enough I don't need any more. No, I know that Kolbe's the easiest. Somebody sent me the human design. There was a whole human. I don't know if it was that one, but it was a human. And then there were all these numbers surrounded by him and all these colors. I'm like, no, just give me I see the world in so my intros are 6482 meets 3393. Otherwise it's too confusing, too much context. I'm very low in context on Strength Finders.
Okay. That makes sense.
I appreciate you saying that. It's too it's too much information. I just want the number or the keyword.
So simple is better.
Well, less is more. Yeah, I'm a 100% simplifier.
Yeah. Yeah. You make a statement actually in your book, and I'm going to, botch it probably because it's not going to be exact, but basically something about that. If you want to be a millionaire, or just better your life, it is as simple as observing, right? And then taking action. So I'm just curious, how is it that simple? Just observing and taking action.
I don't know if that's a rhetorical question, but life is pretty simple. This is not in the book. Whenever I write a third book, this will be in this. Okay. So this will answer your question in a different way.
Okay.
My 9-year-old is a 3297 Colby. He's a pure genius. His name is Chase. He's got whatever my brain is, and then my wife's Dr. Brain, loving, kindness, harmony. She's harmony 1 in Strength Finder, a relator, harmony relator. So he's got her brain and mine. And when he was 8, we went out to dinner, just him and me, and we were talking about IQ and bending time. So that's what, we talk about that stuff in our family, in addition to sports and other stuff. But so Chase provided the single best definition of what life actually is that I've ever heard. And all I do is talk to geniuses. So he considers life one long, great day. So there's no Wednesday or, that's just a human. There's no August. So yesterday's before you were born. Tomorrow's after you die. Okay. So life is one long day. And then he said there are only 2 ways to have a great day. Only 2, because he's a simplifier like me. And so he said, 1, create more living things. The fundamental purpose of any living thing is to create more living things. So that could be a child, that could be planting a tree, could be starting a company, a foundation. That's a living thing. I don't think there's an argument against that. If there is, I'd like to hear it. I mean, there'd be nothing here if there was an argument against that, but I always like to know if there is. No one's argued that yet. And then 2 is do what you like to do and what you're good at and keep getting better at it. So that's, you just learn the pattern and then you activate it. I know what I'm great at, what I like to do, so I just keep doing that. It's pretty simple. And I found all this business owner stuff just takes care of itself.
I love actually how you brought your children into that, because I was actually curious about how you're embracing and teaching them that their uniqueness is a great way to thrive.
They're teaching me.
Yeah, but you're also teaching them.
Thank you. I would agree, but they, Earl Nightingale is he's my favorite. He's the OG of, he started doing motivational stuff when audio recordings just started. He's the OG. And because my father was 61 when I was born, and he was born in 1916, I like I should be in my 80s, so like older wisdom. So I gravitate toward older folks. Earl Nightingale's long gone, but so my favorite quote of his is, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." And then my worthy ideal is zone of genius, purpose of life, which is to be connecting superhero for every visionary who shares stories with the world, not their. I don't understand their world. It's confusing. And then success is progressive realization of worthy ideal, to see that my children who are 9 and 10 learning this and then again teaching me these things. To me, that's progressive realization of worthy ideal. And then with my wife phasing out of pediatrics to be COO of Second Company, which is connectivity platform for visionaries only. And then she's a pure onboarding genius with a high IQ who's a harmony relator. It's the same thing. It's success is progressive realization of worthy ideal. I used to think it was strictly in a business sense, but it's not. It's way more than that. It's really in a family purpose sense. That's how I've evolved my thinking with that quote from Earl Nightingale.
Do you think your boys are going to be incredible entrepreneurs one day?
Wonderful question. You've asked 2 great questions. You've asked all good ones, but those are 2 of them. Yeah, my 9-year-old, he's already wants to take over companies. Success is progressive realization of worthy ideal. My 10-year-old, his fastest 5K time is 20 minutes, 38 seconds. So I would not be surprised if he was in Olympics. for distance running. And if he's not an entrepreneur, he will be an intrapreneur. He's not an employee. He can't. He has no. It would be he's pure, strong, and self-reliant. Like just pure. Like get out of my way. So I would hope he. I mean, whatever they want to do is fine. But the greatest joy of being an entrepreneur is the kids can see this world even exists. Most people don't know this world exists. I would be very surprised if both of them are not entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs. I can't see them being employees. I'd be flabbergasted if that happened.
I have to say, just listening to you, I think I would be too.
and to even double down on that, my wife and I, we met the day before she started medical school. She's the type of pediatrician that pediatricians send their children to. So she's like the nicest person on the planet. So for her to start to phase out of that to become COO of second company, now the kids are seeing that too. And she's an onboarding machine. She's an 8742 Colby, like pure integrator COO with love and harmony. And she's just a machine. So for the kids to see that, I think, frankly, that's even more important, to see her evolving in such a wonderful way. I mean, it's just beautiful to see that. I always recommended she would start her own company, but she didn't want to do that. Sure, quick start isn't high enough, but she's the perfect integrator, just perfect. And the kids now get to see her hard work as a pediatrician and as integrator COO. I mean, it's just beautiful. That's the greatest joy. I mean, it's just beautiful to see it.
Yeah, I think the best marriages, at least in my mind, are the ones we complement each other. And it's clear 100%. That you and your wife complement each other. It's my husband and I do similar, the same. Like, for example, he can't come up with any ideas, but
no.
He can.
Did you Colby him?
He's going to, because he's curious now, because I had him read your book too.
Is he an engineer?
He is an engineer.
Okay, so how did I know? Okay, I didn't. That's what I mean. So he's probably an 8832 or something like that. Give him a cubicle. Give him something to design.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. If I tell him, like, for example, if I say I want you to make this app for me, he'll go do it.
Okay. Okay. I'm almost dead last in ideation, but there's no reason to me that your husband couldn't serve in the same role for you that my wife is serving for our company. Like that would seem like a logical. How long have you been married?
Well, we've been married 14 years, but we've been together since we were kids. So since we were 14, 15.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that. I'm not going to ask exactly how many years, because I don't want to do that. Thank you for laughing at that.
It's been like 30 years.
Thank you for answering that. Appreciate that. I'm not going to do the math, but I got a 35 on my ACT in math, but I don't remember how to count like that because I don't really use it other than Colby. But he's probably, my wife's a 4 quick start. Your husband's probably a 2. So it's going to take him a really long time. If he ever does it, there's a big difference between a 4 and a 2 quick start. But if he does actually do what I think he might do, then he'll never stop following through on it. But that would be perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. But that's up to him. That's up to his low quick start to do it. It's up to him.
Yeah. Well, you talk about nothing is wrong unless nothing is done. And in our house, that's paralysis by analysis, or basically overthinking, right?
Horrible.
But I personally think that stems from the fear of failure. What do you think?
Oh, that stems from low quick start. That's what that means. So low quick start is afraid of risk. Yeah. That's why I don't talk to low quick starts. I've married one, thank God, but I don't talk to them because they don't do anything. In 6+ years as an entrepreneur, again, zero business background, zero. And we only partner with Visionaries. We've only partnered. Well, there's no one in the connectivity platform. There's no one under a 7 quick start. I'm a 7. That's the lowest in there. With PR firm, only 2 under a 7 quick start have partnered with my firm in 6+ years. I'll talk to them once, but they're afraid to do anything.
So you mentioned, and you kind of touched base on it a little bit earlier as you were laughing at me, but that's okay.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was definitely not.
Okay, but you mentioned that you struggle with not letting others do things, right? So how do you get over that self-reliance?
Oh, first of all, I was not laughing at you. I was feeling horrible because that's terrible. I mean, no, that's a terrible.
Maybe I found it comical watching your reaction. So maybe
thank you.
Maybe I put that on you.
Thank you. Thank you for, okay. Yeah, I was definitely not. I just, that was my empathy kicking in because I feel that pain very strongly. Okay. So and again, I am high quick start and high follow through. That's very rare. Most people I talk to are high quick start, lower follow through. So if they don't have anyone that helps them, it's a disaster because you can do it, but you're not a high. I'm not saying you, but I kind of am. But because you're not a high follow through. Okay, so you can do it, but it's not your natural state. So with PR firm, we have some freelancers and website people and financial person. Calendly's a great help with scheduling. But it's so easy and fun and lucrative for me that I don't want to scale that. I don't want to scale that company at all. I don't want to do that. I never did. The second company, which is LinkedIn for Visionaries, I can't build a SaaS platform. I would die. I can barely hold a pencil right. So I needed to find a partner for that. My partner, who's a 1596 Colby, he can build anything, or he loves being backstage, but he's a 9 quick start. He's a bigger visionary than I am, but he's backstage. He is the one that does all of that stuff. And then my wife, a couple months ago, she's like, hey, what if I decided to phase out of pediatrics and join your second company? I'm like, great. Perfect. And so my wife, Dr. Sarah, and then partner, Mark Fujiwara, they have meetings. I never even go to those meetings. I don't do any of that. And my wife's an onboarding machine. Partners found the person who could build the SaaS platform. They did. And now it's beautiful. It's because I stay completely in my zone of genius, which is talking to people like us and connecting them. And then I don't run the second company at all. That would be a terrible idea. I would electrocute it. I'd blow up the company.
But there was a time that you were completely self-reliant. I mean, even in your initial start, you were the one who sought out 5,000 people to find five customers.
Most people can't do that. That's entrepreneur life. Yeah, that's why you're either born like that or you're not. But eventually you realize that that's a bad idea to keep doing that. Yeah, you can't build a SaaS platform by yourself. I mean, I guess someone could, but I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that would be a really bad idea. It'd be terrible to do that.
I agree. It's a hump I'm trying to get over, but I just was curious if the hump of being completely self-reliant and doing everything myself. I mean, even like you mentioned having Jeff, my husband, come alongside and do things with me, and that'd be a good match. Even doing that is a struggle. Like it's a struggle for me to say, here, take this for me.
Well, that's on you.
I know.
Once you realize that, then so that's what I mean. I don't know what to say to that other than that's on you. Yeah. So, okay. As long as you know that.
No, I do. I just was more curious how you got over that hump, but
I don't. Okay, no. So my dad was 61 when I was born. Thank you for reading the book. He was shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute. Got back into a plane. Most people can't. That's visionary. Will just do that. There are no excuses at the highest level. I don't understand excuses. It's illogical to me.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm 100% black and white. My wife would have a completely different response to that, which I'm grateful for. My partner for second company would have he's a third in empathy. He's high in empathy. For me, I just don't understand it. I can't, I just don't.
Yeah. Okay. So in Epic Life, there's obviously 30 chapters, and which is basically 30 ways to live this epic life, to put your family first and be an entrepreneur. But if you had to choose just one, which one would it be?
Great simplifier. I mean, the reason why it's chapter 1 is because it's chapter 1. So 1 is chapter 1, but the cream rises to the top. So that's something my dad said every day. And he's, you're either the cream that rises to the top or someone who makes an excuse. I mean, he came from nothing, came from nothing, survived atrocities of World War. I mean, just pure horrible experiences in World War II. Became attorney in Nazi war crime, Nuremberg trials. No excuses. And then he died when I was 13. So I know what it's like not to have a dad around. So I would never do that to my children. I would never do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you share some journal entries of your father's, which are beautiful.
Thank you.
Hard to read, but beautiful.
Very hard. But that's, oh my God. Can I, I'll go down in there. So like every now and then I'll be like, the non-abundant thing. It'll pop in there every now and then. So I'll go down and read his diary. I'll go down there. I'll probably include this in the third book. So there were some other entries where he was, I don't want to be too graphic. He was dropping bombs on Germans on their tanks. And then they had horse carrying, not a buggy, but like a wagon, and describing how the bombs exploded animal and people and machinery. And then he actually wrote 2 diaries. I can't find the second one, but the one I have, it literally ends in the middle of a passage where they were in a house in Belgium, and he stopped. This is very graphic. He stopped his soldier friends from raping a younger Belgian woman. He stopped them because he kicked the mom and I guess it was teenager or young adult daughter out of the house because he knew that his friends were not friends, but soldiers were going to rape them. So he kicked them out of the house. So I just read that one a couple months ago, and then it just ends in the middle of that, which is kind of frustrating. But like, that's my litmus test. Like, are you someone with that type of honor who will never make an excuse, or are you not? Most people they're not like that. So it's great to have him as that example, even though he's no longer with us, but he still is. And then our children are bigger visionaries than I am. They're bigger vision. I mean, they're both 9 quick starts.
Well, I hope that one day you do take his journal and turn it into a book, because I have a feeling that your take on it, along with his words, would be, well, amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So what is next for you?
Oh, success is the progressive realization of every whatever you want to call day, or I just talk to people like us and connect them, and then spend time with my family. So,
and that's going to be the be all and end all, or is there something?
There's nothing. No, I mean, there's nothing. All this other stuff takes care of itself. So you're a futurist. I'm not. I can hear it. All this, that's great. Most of the people I talk to are futurist achievers or activators. I'm not. I'm enjoying my life with my family and talking to people like you and connecting them.
Yeah.
And then what happens from that is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. There's a really great documentary. I don't know if he's still alive. It's called Hero Dreams of Sushi. I don't know if you watched that, but he's a sushi chef and had a Michelin 3-star restaurant in a Tokyo subway station that sat like 14 people. Mm-hmm. So like a 3-star Michelin restaurant in a subway station. And he spent his whole life making sushi because he just wanted to get better and 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 better. He never thought about what's next other than just keep making better and better sushi. So I just want to keep making better family life and then better network. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. But kind of falls in line with your idea of you choose your year or you name your year.
Name your years.
But you actually don't do it. It sounds, at least to me, that you don't do it until it's actually getting close to.
Close. Oh, I just named 2024.
Oh, wait, it's August.
I named 2024. I just did it like last week.
Okay. Well, you do think in the future.
I mean, a little bit. I'm not naming 2028. 2024 is Century Club. Century Club.
And what does that mean to you?
100 members in Brepic Network. I'm sure it will be well over 100 before the end of next year, the way my wife is onboarding folks. And then just to give you context, so 2020 was global growth every day and Joe Martin is the great visionary who told me about naming your years. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. 2020 was global growth, so join multiple global organizations. 2021 was no limits, so every day no limits, no limits, no limits. So when you have no limits, there are no limits. 2022 was epic life. So hey, that became the name of the book. And then 2023 was net works. So hey, the Brepic network works now. How about that? So it's really it's a great exercise. Not great. It's whatever better than great is. It's better than that. It's really a great way to simplify your year.
Yeah. I do that in a different way. We call that like it's my big goal for the year. So I made my big goal. So like this year's Thrive Mindset, that was my big goal, and that's what I've been doing.
Oh, well, take the driven assessment. So there you go. That's okay. So that makes perfect sense to me. That's perfectly logical with what you just said. And then you'll see your big red circle.
Okay. I'm going to do that now. So is there anything else that we haven't really chatted about that you think that we should share, or we should chat?
One, you're excellent interviewer. Your website is great. You're welcome. You're welcome. My wife taught me how to say thank you and you're welcome. So you're welcome. Again, everything's a pattern. So if you're not a litmus test for people you serve, that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. So purpose of life is to be connecting superhero for every visionary who shares stories with the world. So I'm visionary sharing story with the world. You can't serve others if you don't serve yourself first. That's not selfish. It's selfless. You can't. So then 2, keep making bigger investments to be in smaller rooms, but the people in those rooms are making bigger impact. So bigger investment, smaller room, bigger impact. That allows me to spend biggest investment in smallest room, which is family, where I can make most impact. And again, it's litmus test for people you serve. How can you invest? How can you expect people to invest bigger checks, write bigger checks in you and your companies if you're not investing bigger checks in yourself or to be in smaller rooms? It's illogical because you're not being a litmus test for people you serve.
That's great. That's really
Thank
great.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I just can't thank you enough for reaching out. I appreciate it. I appreciate this conversation.
I can't wait till your husband listens to this and he's like, oh, maybe I should make this transition, or because you'll scale once you get over that hump. You'll scale because you're too big of a visionary not to. The hummingbird, you're not letting the hummingbird fully fly if you don't scale it.
Well, that is, it's an interesting conversation because we're just having that same conversation in the pool this weekend. Okay,
there you go. So how do I know that? Because you know the answer. You see
well, he does clearly. He does clearly. He's the one that said to me, why are you not bringing me into part of this with you?
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. So he took 30 years to say that, but now he'll never stop saying it until you do it. So unless I have a wiretap in your house, there's no way you could have known that, but you just know the answer. So there's the answer.
Yeah.
And then you activate it. That's what you have to do. Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I do.
Let that hummingbird, rainbow hummingbird, go. Grandma would be happy.
She would be.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time.
Ditto.
Well, as you can see, Justin has a ton of great information to share. His story is inspiring. His way of thinking and his ability to see patterns in all things is, well, beyond impressive. And I hope that you all were able to take away something of value to you today. And above all else, remember that I believe in you and you can manifest the life of your dreams.